Hello everyone, I'm back. This is the second class of the Marine Administration of Korea. We have reviewed in last class overall understanding of the Marine administrations of the Korea, including terminology, scope of the lecture, and UNCLOS, the law of the sea as well. In this second class, I will introduce to marine environments of the Korea. It may include how the Korean features in terms of the marine environment. And also, I will continue to introduce the history of the Korea marine administrations. Relatively, we have a very short, shallow history of the marine administrations. After liberation from the Japanese colony in 1945, last 75 years, we made big growth. You may see how we make that big development. The second chapter may include marine environmental features of South Korea and establishment of the MOF, that is Ministry of the Oceans and Fisheries, and its purpose and mission, and followed by governing regime of Korea's marine administrations. When you establish the marine strategy or marine related the policy plan, you need to understand first where you are and what you have and what are the neighborhoods who are there. In that sense, we have to understand South Korea geographical locations first. This is Korea. We prefer to be called Republic of Korea, but many outside of Korea, they called our country South Korea because we are divided south and north. At the middle of the Korean peninsula, there is a demilitarized zone. We cannot move further up from them. So that means our country is surrounded by the sea water, like an island country. That's our geographical locations. And also, fortunately, our main port, Busan, located, is very beneficial and advantageous when the Arctic Sea route is developed. When we compare the two routes, the first current route via Suez Canal and the now under development, the Arctic Sea route, there are about 4,800 miles differences in distance. And when the ship sail at 20 knots, it makes difference 10 days difference in the destination arrival time. This is very advantageous. Also, in future, if we get through those demilitarization zone, and we can connect pipelines, railroad lines through China and Russia, and then get the approach to the Europe. So Busan is the gate of the North Asia Pacific areas. This is very competitive locations, and that is our main considerations how we develop in Busan port in the future. Let's see maritime jurisdiction and neighbors from our country. Fortunately, unfortunately, our country located in between those three very powerful countries, Japan, China, and Russia. That gives big opportunities, but also very challengeable. When we see the EEZ and the conflict between neighborhoods in terms of the island or the how we make the draw lines between the countries. You see the south of the Korean Peninsula, there's one lock we call Yeouido. That is closest to our country. And then we built the research towers, and we collect information of the atmospheres, climate changes, and waivers, ocean data, etc. It's very informative, and also we utilize this very well. But still, this is located under 4.5 meters at the sea level. So this is not island like lock. So according to UNCLOS, it is not recognized as the territory. But because of the closest to the country, we utilize these areas. And some other areas like Daoyao, and between the Japan and China, they have some conflict about this Daoyao island. And it's more and more intensive to develop and predominate the certain areas in the high seas. So our countries, the EEZ agreement is not settled yet, because EEZ, according to UNCLOS, is more than 200 miles. It's okay. The coastal states can draw the lines, but unfortunately, between Korea and Japan, Korea and China, there's a shorter than 200 miles. So as you see, the yellow lines drawn by the Korea, and orange lines EEZ drawn by Japan, and the west coast there also some gaps how to draw the EZ between the Korea and China. So still very challenging. This is the situation what we have now. In other sense, Korea has a lot of islands and also surrounded by the ocean. And we have 4.5 times bigger than the land territory. We have the sea territories, ocean territories. That means even with smaller land space, we can develop the more opportunities from the sea. Also, we have so many islands. Heavy tide island, 472, uninhabited the island, 2,876 island. Those numbers is number 4 country has in the number of the island. You see which country is the world rank number 1 in terms of the number of the island. That is Indonesia. The second, Philippines. Third, Japan. It's coincidentally those all 4 countries is in Asia. Also, while we look into the marine life along the long coastlines with extensive tide lengths, because west coast we have very high tidal ranges up to 9 to 10 meters gap. Ebb tide. Total length of the coastal line is 14,960 kilometers. That is about 37% of Earth's circumference. Out of them, the coastline of the mainland is 7,752 kilometers, about 52%, and the islands about 7,210 kilometers. Approximately 99% of total population in South Korea dwelling within the 100 kilometers from the sea. We can reach the sea, any sea, within 2-3 hours, any place in our country. So that is our environment, what we have. And also west coast, as I told you, tidal range is big. So there are huge tide lands, like mud area. There's 2,482 kilometers, square meters. That is another resource of what we have. That is very much different from other countries. South Korea, we have a huge development last 75 years long. And then we have a good result. We have 99.7% trading is made by the sea transportation. That emphasizes the importance of the sea. So the performance reveal the #1 in the world since 2001 in shipbuilding industry. And we take 6th largest in the world container port terminal in Busan, and the 6th largest in the world in the gross legis tonnage size, and 8th country in the world to establish the science station in Antarctica. We have built 1988 at first time, and the second one is in 2014. This ship is first ice-breaking research ship we call Arion. This is our the activities, performance, and the environmental features, what we have. All these, the environmental situations, we put all together in the world map. Usually we see head to North Pole, but this map, for the emphasis of the importance of the sea, we make it upside down. We go to the sea. Of course, the land to move to north is important, but more importantly, the sea is our future. So more focused sea strategy, sea policies. That's the reason we produce this world map in upside down. I pointed one place is your country and with the national flag. This I understand. We have shared the same longitude and we have the same time zone. It's very interesting. I like it. This is the legend of this map. You may visit the website of the Ministry of the Ocean and the Fisheries, and then you find this map, and then you can enlarge and see the more details what we have in the world. Let's see our country's marine and including maritime industry in a nutshell. We again count how important of the marine value. This is a kind of repeat what we have reviewed in the first class, but we touch again about 80% of all the creatures living in the sea, and 75% oxygen is produced by the sea. And also we have a ocean, the asset value 24,200 billion, and also natural resources inside the sea. As we touch it, 95% is unexplored, and there the copper, mangan, nickel, that is about 2 to 5 times more than land side resource. And also the sea, we can trade by using the sea, and also the sea provides a lot of different abundant fisheries. In this slide shows how we make the growth last about 2 decades. In marine industry revenue, we have grown from 29 billion in 1998 to in the 17 years we make 115 billion. It's about the 5 times in such a short time period. And also ship legist tonnage, we only have a 20 million deadweight in 1996, but in 1918 we have a 77 million deadweight. It's about also more than 3 times growth. And the cargo handling in ports, 1996, 280 million tons. 1918 is 1630 million tons. Also more than 5 times we make this big and rapid growth. Then in terms of the sea product, we have slightly dumping down 2000, but still the steady growth. And also not only the catch the fish from the ocean, we're farming the fish inland. We call aquaculture product. It's also a big growth. We make this growth and development continuously in the future. We keep investing. And in 1915, all the R&D, research and development budget, 545 million US dollars. By this, we have touched how the Korean marine environment looks like, and what we have focused and what we made those marine industry and marine policies. All those initiatives at the beginning of the marine history initiated by MOF, Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries. Now, the MOF is independent ministry, and this ministry have the 5 areas pursue development of the marine resources and enhancement of the marine science and technologies, and the development of shipping and the construction and operating of ports and terminals, and the preservation of marine environment and coastal management. The 4th one is management of the fishery resources, promotion of fisheries, and develop fishery village. The 5th one is management of the ship and the seafarer and the marine safety. Those 5 purposes what the MOF pursue when MOF is established. Mission of this MOF organization is to find new value from the sea and to make the sea place where people can be happy. Let's see the organization, who are there, what they do. The minister, and we have a vice minister, and the 6 offices and the bureau, planning and the coordination office, the far left. That's overall supporting functions. Second from the left, this Marine Policy Office. There are 3 sub-organizations. The first one is Marine Industry Policy Bureau, and second one is Marine Environment Policy Bureau. Third one is the International Cooperation Policy Bureau. And we have another 4, the office and the bureau separately. And also, the head office of the MOF located inland side with the other government offices. But the consider the specialties of the marine operations. There are many regional offices, and they have the many functions they deal in the local area, such as main functions is the general affairs, seafarers and maritime safety, port logistics, marine environment, and the fisheries as to navigation. They are located in major port in Korea. Also, the MOF, they have affiliated institutions such as Maritime High School. We have 2 Maritime High School, and Oceans and the Fisheries Human Resources Development Institute, and National Maritime Position, Navigation, and the Timing Office, the National Institute of the Fisheries Science, Korea Hydrographic and the Oceanograph Agency, Korea Maritime Safety Tribunal. This tribunal office has 4 region offices: Busan, Incheon, and Donghae and Mokpo. And also National Sea Fisheries Management Services. They operating 34 vessels. And also there are another public entity we call a public authority. The main areas of the port, we have a port authority. They handle the port operations and also manage the port land. We have 5 port authority in major port. And we have a Korea Marine Environment Management Corporation, and Korea Maritime Transportation Safety Authority, Korea Institute of Maritime and Fisheries Technology, Korea Fisheries Resources Agency, and Korea Institute of Marine Science and Technology Promotion, Port Security Corporation in 2 large ports, Korea Institute of Air to Navigation, Korea Institute of Ocean Science and Technology, Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency, Korea Hydrography and Research Association, Korea Maritime Dangerous Goods Inspection and Research Institute. You may infer what they're doing from the name of the organization, but if you have interested more about what they're doing, you may visit the website address I've given in the slide, and then you find more in details. Let us have a break and come back shortly. Thank you for your attention.